Shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel. Let us give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Ruach Kodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles, great millstone. Peace and salutations again to the hopeful elect of Israel, starting with the 144,000, putting their life on the line, day in and day out. This lesson, we're going to go into America going down day by day, bit by bit, and our people, you know, are still finding a reason to believe that it's not over yet, right? But they're gonna find out the hard way. Slovakia, fucking long day. Let's go here. Let's go here. Isaiah 47, starting at verse 1. It states, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon." This virgin daughter is talking about America. A virgin daughter because she hasn't been touched, as far as compared to a worldly level of war and pestilence and things of that nature. She has had her incidents here and there, but she hasn't been fully overtaken because everyone in the world looks at America as the key place to be, right? It says, "Sit on the ground, that there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate," because the Lord is done with this place, right? The way that the Lord has set up the mindset of Esau Edom. Esau Edom is done with this place. The other heathen nations, they're done with this place. All right. Esau Edom, through America, has dealt treacherously among the world, amongst all the nations of the world. And as it is written, matter of fact, let me get it. As it is written, when thou shalt cease to deal treacherously. Isaiah 33. Isaiah 33 and verse 1. "Woe to thee that spoileth, and thou was not spoiled." Okay? Was a virgin. America is pretty much not touched by anyone. Nobody came over here and took the resources. And it ain't no fucking resources for the most part. But never touched anything on this land over here in America. Thou was not spoiled, even though China had opportunity. Nah, we're not going to keep on giving you our goods. If y'all don't pay us what we want to pay, for cheap, for labor. China has been working pretty much for America for cheap wages. Through the what they call that, imports. What that was back in the late '90s, the 2000s. I went to college. They was saying some shit about not mergers, but it was like, damn, I forget what they call it. It had something to do with the import system. All right, how insourcing, outsourcing jobs and things of that nature. How jobs in America were being outsourced to countries around the world. Corporations, everything was being outsourced to these countries around the world because the labor was cheaper. Back in 2000, people, a lot of them so-called Americans, Babylonians, or Egyptians, whatever you want to call them, was going to college trying to get their, they were pretty much at the end of the day, they were stacking on thick clay. They were getting it. The majority of Americans were being put in debt, to this system. But while China, they were working out their best benefits for their people, for their country, and to benefit off of the labor that they were giving to America for cheap. It said again, um, woe to thee that spoileth, and thou was not spoiled, and dealeth treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. All right, and what's that? That's a sign of them putting taxes and what's it called um, tariffs on these different countries all around the world, and going into different countries and snatching up their resources and going to war. Right, they were dealing treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. Right, and that's what's happening to America. Right, you got this opium epidemic over here in America. You got this fentanyl epidemic going on in America. All these countries, on the slide, on the low, they sending they sending balloons to see how they can infiltrate America or see what's going on. However it goes, right? I want to go here though, because this is the heart. This is the start. This is the end of America. Come down and sit in the dust. Let's get it.
I've been homeless over a year now. It went bad. I went to all the organizations that they had that's supposed to help people in my situation of homelessness and came out on nothing. They didn't do anything for me.
And see, and this is the plight of our people. Let's look at this. San Francisco. This is not just Atlanta, right? San Francisco on the edge. How fentanyl and homelessness are reshaping the city. Watch before it's deleted. Look at this. Their own people. The untold faces of homelessness in America today. It's worse than you think. America's hidden crisis. Drunkest of great USA. America's homelessness crisis 2025. Yep. War, fentanyl, USA fighting streets, seniors dying on the streets, United States homeless crisis. This is a plague. This is a plague. Fentanyl has taken over Philadelphia. So from one side of America to the other side, death in the streets, fentanyl silencing. America, hell, yeah, everybody know about Kensington by now. In Oakland, cheap sex and drug wars. America's hopelessness, emergency. These are rumors of war. Pestilence. I'll go back to the top. That's all I want to get to see on that part. But check this out.
All the resources they say they had, they didn't have because all the other stuff, the money they say they had for us to put us in homes and stuff like that. You go to their organization, Gateway, all the other different organizations, they claim that they broke. But the state get money for the homeless people, so where is the money going to?
Atlanta.
Isaiah 31. Isaiah 31. Isaiah 31 verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because there are many. Right? Our people, like this woman right here in Atlanta, and all the people around the world, around America, they're dependent, hopelessly dependent on this system. As I always go into with the movie of Matrix, they're hopelessly dependent upon this system. America. They forgot their, as far as the children of Israel, they forgot their power. And even though they're being reminded right now through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah by his prophets on the highways and hedges, risking their lives day in and day out to give faith, to give this truth, in acknowledgement of Yahweh Shai, and the acknowledgement of our sins, to come back to Yahweh Shai with a repentant heart. Our people are not listening. Our people are not waking up. The majority of our people are hopelessly dependent upon this system that they bought into. Again, Isaiah 31:1, it says, "Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help." And America is known as Egypt. You go to Revelation chapter 14, right? It says this place is known as, no, it's 11. Matter of fact, let me fact check that. Let me fact check it. Over here. Because I don't want to give you the wrong information. Let's fact check it. Revelation. I'm going to go to 11 first. Revelation chapter 11. Yep. Wipe the feet off that now. Yep. Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. "And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified." Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. Okay. This place is known as Egypt. And our people, the children of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, West Indians, and Haitians, and the rest of the speckled bird, y'all don't stay. Y'all don't trust, pursuant to Isaiah chapter 10, verse 20. Y'all don't trust in the Lord. Y'all trust in what you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you feel. And even worse, man, y'all trust in the words of your oppressors. Isaiah 10:20 lets us know, or lets the world know, that the remnant of Israel is no longer going to stay or look for our oppressors to validate us. Right? Again, it says, "Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help." You go down to your city, your state, your town, cities, what they call it, the governmental systems to help you get out of the slum you in. The Lord controls all things. That's what the people are going to learn. If not in this world, they're going to learn it in the world to come. The Lord, Yahweh Shai, controls all things, the left hand and the right hand. The Lord said, if the ways of a man please him, he'll make even his enemies to be at peace with him. Okay? Again, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, which is Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. Neither seek the Lord, neither are they seeking Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay? Yet he also is wise, and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers, against the help of them that work iniquity. So all you that's constantly, drugged out, doped out, you believe in this system, you've been blinded to the truth of being obedient to the Lord, to put off the flesh. The Lord is saying this is what He's about to bring. He's going to be against those that help the workers of iniquity. All right, and that's majority of our people. Majority of the 2/3 of Israel are those that help promote this system of wickedness. Let's go here. I'm gonna go back to here. Matter of fact, let's play this some more.
A vibrant hub of culture, progress, and civil rights hides a stark reality beneath its shining surface. As the sun sets, tents start to appear along its streets, and thousands face another night without shelter. In a city where prosperity thrives, a hidden divide separates the fortunate from the forgotten. This is the untold story of homelessness in Atlanta, a raw look at lives pushed to the edge. Why do we continue to let this divide grow? In this documentary, we'll uncover the truth that too many overlook. The reality of Atlanta's homeless crisis is waiting to be told. The stark reality of homelessness in Atlanta? Homelessness in Atlanta is a pressing issue that can no longer be brushed aside as the city continues to grow and thrive. Beneath the bustling streets, on the outskirts of neighborhoods, and along the stretches of Old Wheat Street, people are simply trying to survive in makeshift camps.
I became homeless when I lost my job, and after all my family members died of cancer, and I had nowhere to go, so I ended up on the streets.
These aren't just statistics, they're real lives, full of untold stories of struggle and resilience. You'll see the telltale signs, cardboard boxes, worn out faces, and piles of belongings, painting a vivid picture of hardship.
This is systematically done. And it starts with Yahweh Shah. It starts with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. The Lord is decaying this place. And the majority of the people, which we're mainly focused on the children of Israel. This is a harsh reality into what is prophetically known as Jacob's trouble. Famine, pestilence, the sword, teeth of wild beasts, destruction. Because they lack faith in the Lord. They lack faith in, doing what the Lord say to do. Right? Returning to Him. They can't see past what Esau Edom has implanted in their mind. And that's on just a mental and a spiritual level. That's not even on the physical level. Because a lot of people are being prepared to take that MOTB, that Revelation 13 and 16. A lot of people are being prepped up for that moment. And a lot of people are going to, when they reach that moment where they can't take anymore, they're gonna take it. Revelation chapter 14 let us know that there's no place of repentance, for the children of Israel that take that MARK. But let's get this. I want to go here. Matter of fact, before I go there, I got another clip I want to pull up. Because it's not just homelessness. People
It's a game changer. At VPrep, we discovered an online school that prioritizes.
It has become the Skid Row for RV.
4 years ago, I thought that getting an RV, right? Getting an RV would be a form of survival, a way of survival. But even in RVs, you got to have a source, a job, income coming in. You got to maintain your RV. Gas, oil. It's not as easy as it would seem. And then on top of that, you're gonna see that they're making laws where you got to have an up-to-date RV. You're gonna see it. Your RV can't be no more than 10 years old. No matter what kind of enhancements you was able to get on it or whatever. Or if it's still an operating and running RV, because over time things break down. Computers have pretty much a 2-year life sentence, perhaps maybe 3 or 4 at the most. But after those years, things, viruses and things like that is going to destroy your computer. So you have to have updates or just get a new one. Even with your updates, you have to get a new one. Cell phones, computer, digital watches, all these things. They're not built to last forever. Same thing with vehicles. RVs are not built to last forever. Rust, certain things get broken that can't be fixed. They just naturally they need to be replaced. Or ultimately you just have to get a whole new RV, and they put a 10-year limit on these RVs when you go and park them, where you you can get cited, right? Where you can't stay in certain areas. You're gonna have to move it or lose it, like they say, move it or lose it. But let's get it.
Homelessness in LA County, people without a home living in hundreds of RV.
Problems keep mounting for this roving encampment. KCAL's Jasmine Veal spoke to the RV company owner, who's now apologizing and trying to set the record straight.
Homelessness in America has never been higher, but the real crisis is the one you don't see. Thousands live in cars, vans, and RVs, hidden in industrial streets and parking lots. One tow, one ticket, and their last shelter is gone. This isn't RV life, it's survival. Today we pull back the curtain on this hidden crisis, the realities, the dangers, and the fight to survive when your home has wheels. Let's get rolling. Homelessness in America has hit a record high, with over 653,000 people without stable housing in 2023.
Along the peninsula, and they're attracting people from all walks of life. Night Beach Joe Vasquez is in San Mateo County with the staggering new numbers.
Last several weeks, we have been investigating how and why this could be allowed to happen. And now Eyewitness News reporter Josh Haskell shows you what's being done to get people services and start moving some of these RVs out.
The most since tracking began. But there's a hidden side to this crisis that official numbers miss. Thousands of Americans living in cars, vans, and RVs. This vehicle-based homelessness is exploding in cities like Los Angeles, San Diego, and Seattle, where rows of RVs line industrial streets each night. These residents might not look homeless to passing drivers. They have walls and a roof, but they're living without permanent utilities, legal parking, or stability. The problem is largely invisible in government counts. Unlike shelter residents who are easily tracked, vehicle dwellers move frequently to avoid parking restrictions and often go unregistered in official surveys. A tow notice can instantly destroy their only form of shelter. Experts believe these numbers are severely undercounted, making this one of the fastest growing yet least understood aspects of America's housing crisis. While policymakers focus on traditional homelessness, thousands more Americans are quietly living in a precarious middle ground, housed but not home, mobile but never settled. This hidden population represents a new face of housing insecurity that demands urgent attention and innovative solutions. The explosion in vehicle-based homelessness isn't accidental. It's the inevitable result of crushing economic pressures hitting Americans simultaneously.
Systematic.
Since 2020, rents have skyrocketed over 25% nationwide, with cities like Phoenix, Tampa, and Austin seeing jaw-dropping increases of 35 to 40%. Meanwhile, wages have crept up less than 2% after adjusting for inflation. Factor in soaring costs for groceries, gas, and utilities, and families who once lived comfortably now face impossible choices. The eviction crisis...
And this brings me to a precept I gotta get. This brings me to a precept. Second address. I want to say second address. Second address. And I want to say 15. Around the 40. No. Must be 16. Let's get one. This is beautiful too. This is not where I want to go. Okay, 16. Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 73. Then shall they be known. It's lucky, I gotta pull up. Here we go. Second Ezra 16 and 73. 71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. See, that's the point I wanted to get. It's talking about when Esau Edom come in like a flood, Jacob's trouble. Right now, a lot of the Lord's elect or the hopeful elect are being sustained. If not by their own. Not ultimately, we're not being sustained by our own. It's by the Spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, and through the brotherhood, through the Lord's mercy. Like I said earlier, those whose ways please the Lord, He'll make even His enemies to be at peace with Him. But it's going to be a time where that's going to be stripped away. For the most part, a lot of us are going to have to go through that straight gate. A lot of us are going to go through that straight gate, even though, those His servants are going to eat, But it comes with going through that straight gate, certain levels of difficulty. It says, then shall they be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Who was they? Esau Edom, those that knowing they have a short time left, they're going to come down with great wrath. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. And here's the point. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. All right, and acceptable men are going to be tried in the furnace with adversity. Right now, that's what a lot of us are going through. Even though the majority of us at this time might have, the Lord has not removed His benefits from us. His mentally and spiritually, we understand that our staff and stay of bread is taken away from us. We have no security. Our finances. We have to find out how to do the best that we can with our finances. And a lot of people are just squandering your finances, squandering your opportunities, and a lot of our people are being entitled instead of just working it out. And then first and foremost, keeping faith in the Lord, seeking the Lord. On a daily basis, every day you should be seeking the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. All around the board. Because what happens is when disparity comes, when people start getting desperate, when they can't fulfill their fleshly wants, lusts, and needs, they're going to try to start going to people and try to take from people. They're going to start, whoever they can try to manipulate and take advantage of is what they're going to work on doing. Instead of just having faith in the Lord and knowing when these times come, just sit back, do what you're supposed to do as far as the Lord has commanded us to. But for the most part, don't take things into your own hand, meaning don't sin. Don't willfully sin because of a lack of faith. A lot of people are about to reach that level of a lack of faith and despair. And that's going to be their judgment. All right. Let me go back to this.
Now face impossible choices. The eviction crisis compounds the problem. Nearly 970,000 eviction cases were filed in 2023 as pandemic protections disappeared.
Los Angeles, a place to park, is fast becoming a place to start over for thousands of people there living in RVs.
When your severe asthma says you can't, Tespire says you can. Tespire is an add-on treatment for
living in RVs.
Once evicted, people encounter a brutal cycle. Steep security deposits, application fees, and damaged credit scores that effectively ban them from rental markets.
Right.
Homeownership offers no escape route. With median home prices exceeding $402,000 and mortgage rates near 7%, buying remains fantasy for most Americans. Faced with these impossible economics, many turn to aging RVs and beat-up vans, not for adventure, but for survival. These aren't lifestyle choices, they're desperate attempts to avoid sleeping on concrete. These vehicles become fragile shelters on wheels, offering minimal protection from both the elements and a housing system that has fundamentally failed working families across America. For families teetering on the edge of homelessness, purchasing an old RV isn't about wanderlust, it's about survival. When shelters overflow, feel unsafe, or force families to separate, a recreational vehicle becomes their only option to stay together under one roof. The devastating math speaks volumes. A used RV costs $3,000 to $8,000, often less than 2 months' rent in today's inflated market. Desperate parents liquidate savings accounts, borrow from family members, or sell cherished belongings to afford one. Sometimes a relative sells an aging rig at a steep discount, understanding they're providing far more than a vehicle. They're offering hope.
A luxury RV lot overrun by squatters, trash piling up, trailers burning, and safety concerns growing. But why do some say they had no choice but to move in?
Fox 11's Haley Winslow is in the City of Industry.
Initially, an RV feels like salvation, a mobile home offering dignity and family unity. But this safety net remains dangerously fragile. A single mechanical breakdown, new parking restrictions, or unexpected towing can instantly transform that last refuge into worthless metal. The RV becomes simultaneously their sanctuary and their prison, mobile freedom shadowed by constant vulnerability. Living in an RV appears cheaper than paying rent, but this assumption masks a cruel financial reality that devastates people when they're most vulnerable. Power costs devour budgets relentlessly. Without electrical hookups, residents burn $5 to $15 daily on generator fuel. Solar panels could provide relief, but the $800 to $2,000 upfront investment remains impossible for most. Water refills and waste disposal add another $40 to $100 monthly. Repairs deliver the crushing blow.
In the South Bay, local leaders say they're making a new push to address what they're calling van lording.
Yeah, they say people are illegally renting substandard RVs to the unhoused, letting them live in poor conditions.
These aren't conveniences. They're survival equipment that families can't live without. Even staying stationary costs money. Most states mandate insurance and registration, averaging $500 to $1,200 annually. Without proper documentation, owners face tickets or impoundment, losing their only shelter. The devastating reality? Many RV dwellers spend $600 to $1,200 monthly just surviving, amounts rivaling the rent they desperately tried to escape. What appeared to be financial salvation becomes another form of housing insecurity, only this version comes with wheels. The supposed escape from unaffordable housing transforms into a mobile poverty trap with its own relentless expenses. For RV dwellers, securing safe parking involves more than affordability. It means beating an arbitrary expiration date that treats their homes like spoiled milk.
Well, the Low Income Housing Institute is the group tasked with pulling this off. They say they're looking at about 12 sites right now, have yet to narrow it down to where this could actually become a reality, though they say the services they provide.
Nationwide, private campgrounds enforce the notorious 10-year rule, automatically banning any RV manufactured more than a decade ago, regardless of condition. A pristine, fully operational 2008 motorhome gets rejected purely based on its birth certificate, not its livability. This policy creates a devastating catch-22. Most affordable RVs accessible to struggling families exceed the 10-year threshold. Upgrading to a newer model costs $50,000 or more, an impossible sum for people who chose RV living precisely because they couldn't afford traditional housing. Some campgrounds offer exceptions, but only after submitting photos, passing inspections, or completing extensive paperwork, obstacles nearly impossible to navigate without reliable internet, transportation, or free time. The consequences are predictable and cruel. Families get expelled from safe, legal campgrounds and forced onto industrial streets, remote pull-offs, or into endless nomadic cycles. What campground owners market as quality standards functions as pure economic discrimination, a policy that drives vulnerable people deeper underground simply because their shelter has too many birthdays. This age-based segregation transforms RV living from challenging into nearly impossible, making homelessness even more precarious. As vehicle homelessness explodes...
That's it, you know? America, man. You know? The home of the brave. Land of the free. Supposedly. This is what this land is left with. It's not going to get better. Let's go here. Yeah. Jeremiah 51. And I'm going to start at verse 8. Get to the point. Babylon, aka America, a land of confusion. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. Verse 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even unto the skies. Yeah, America has her sins, her judgment, her abominations have reached up to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Whether you see it or not, there's going to be a migration of these immigrants. The so-called Chinese and Japanese and all these different nations from around the world that once thought coming to America was going to sustain them and their family. They're starting to see that this is the dream of America is being decayed. It never really was, but the contract that they signed, that they signed, is going to also be deteriorated. Right? There's no healing for America anymore. There's no healing. I'm gonna just let's go here. I want to go to matter of fact, we'll go back to 2nd Esdras. Let's go back to 2nd Esdras. Do I got it up here still? No. Let's go back to 2nd Esdras. Second Esdras chapter 16. I want 16. And let's jump down to verse 39. Let's go back to verse 39. 2nd Esdras. Here we go. Again, right? It says here, 2nd Esdras 16, chapter 1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be to thee, Egypt and Syria. Now the Lord is about to bring woe on all these countries. But start here in America. It says, gird up yourselves with cloth of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. Okay? This place is going down. There's no healing for her anymore. She served out her sentence to show the world how wicked a nation can be, ran by a certain nation of people, or how wicked a land could be ran by a certain nation of people, and what's going to be the outcome of that. Right? A sword is sent upon you, who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? No one can stop what the Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, what the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son is about to bring to this place. Verse 6, may any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood? Hell no. or may anyone quench the fire in the stubble, when it had begun to burn? Hell no. You know, when at first, if you could stump it, you see a little fire coming up, you might be able to stump it out. But when it has begun to burn, how many of y'all ready to jump inside a forest fire? That's what that question right there mean. That's what that statement right there mean. How many of y'all ready to jump into a forest fire and try to stop it with nothing but your bare hands and your feet? Verse 7. I'm not about to go into that right now. Let's jump down to verse 39. Because we could have pulled that out in Jeremiah chapter 50, but we're going to try to keep it simple. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 39. It states, Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Right, the Lord is giving his people an opportunity to wake up and see what's really going on. You're supposed to be waking up, not going to Egypt, not going to your president, not going to your church, these so-called church leaders, right? These harlot houses looking for salvation or help. You're supposed to be going to Yahweh Shem Shai. This is a spiritual thing. Everything that you've known physically, that you used to depend on, you're supposed to empty that cup out. This is a spiritual awakening. The Lord is spiritually working with his people, and a lot of our people are still stuck in this world, even those that are of the circumcision, that know they are Israelites. You're still stuck on what America can do for you, what your friends can do for you, that's of the world, what your circle can do for you, that's of the world. And the Lord about to show you. The Lord's about to show you. You don't really believe and trust in me. But what the Lord about to show the majority of our people? Y'all don't really trust and believe in me. Even though I've given you benefits, I've helped you out of these certain situations, you still wanna be a part of this world. Therefore, where was I going to? Ezekiel chapter 7. All right, let's jump down to verse 10. It says, Behold, it is come. The morning is gone forth. The rod hath blossomed. Pride hath bubbled. All right. People in their pride, they don't see the rod coming against them, the rod of correction, the rod of destruction, right? The rod of the rod of discipline. They don't see that. They don't even see that their pride is bucking up, right? It says, violence is risen up into a rod of wickedness. None of them shall remain, nor of their multitude, nor any of theirs. Neither shall there be wailing for them. Lord said, don't pray for these people. Don't cry for these people. It's not going to be no wailing for them. The time that we're coming into, there's going to be so much destruction. Your mind is going to be focused on survival. You're going to be, especially if you're in the right spirit, the Lord got to put that spirit on you to stay focused on him through all the destruction we're going to see around us. People falling out, dying, getting sick, old and young. And your compassion for wicked people are not going to help you. Your compassion for those that the Lord is going to judge is not going to help you. No. It's not going to help you. Verse 12, it says, the time is come. The day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. For the seller shall not return to that which is sold, although they were yet alive. Right? For the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which shall not return. That's speaking of majorly the 2/3. Like this is going back. Ezekiel chapter 7 is going back to Israelites, period. The land is talking about Israelites, period. We're a people before we're a place But this Ezekiel chapter 7, if you go back to verse 1 on down, this is pretty much about everything that we've been through, all our captivities. And this being America, our final captivity, it's happening again. Right? But your church leaders ain't gonna tell you that. They're not gonna tell you about reincarnation or regeneration. How the spirits are subject to the spirits, like the prophets, to the men of the Lord. The same spirits that come back in the earth being played over and over again. But this is the refining period. This is the refining period when the 144,000 men, 12,000 men from each of 12 tribes of Israel is going to stand up in great boldness, and where the rest of the elected Israel is going to be saved by trusting and believing in the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai through faith. All right, verse where was I? 13. For the seller shall not return to that which is sold, although they were yet alive. For the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which shall not return, neither shall any strengthen himself in the iniquity of his life. Yeah, your guns, your whoring, your false gods, your weapons, your food, your stocking up, your pantries, your prepping. That's all iniquity. That's all faithless acts. The Lord ain't looking to that. That's not going to help you in the day to come. Let's go here to Second Ezra again. Speaking about the same thing. These two scriptures, precept or chapters and prophets talking about the same thing. Second Ezra chapter 16. Let's go to verse 40. Back to 40. It says, "Oh my people," hold on, I got a point to make. Got a point to make in 19, right? In 14, it says, they have blown the trumpet. Who blown the trumpet? The prophets. In Ezekiel, what's that, chapter 3 or 33? The Lord said he had set up prophets. He had set up watchmen upon the towers, blowing the trumpet to warn the people of his righteous judgment upon the earth. Right? But it say, they have blown the trumpet, that's his prophets, even to make all ready, but none goeth to the battle. For my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. All right? The time that we're coming into. The Lord has blown the trumpet, and these people are not listening. They're not hearkening. Back at 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 40, it says, "O my people, the elected Israel, hear my word," coming from who? The prophets. Starting with our elders and apostles, the great millstone on down. The brother Akim on the highways and hedges, speaking the 100% truth to the best of their ability, keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, and keeping the faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. "O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle. And in those evils," right? The time that we in, a time like no other, "be even as pilgrims upon the earth. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away. He that buyeth, as one that will lose. He that occupieth merchandise, as he that will have no profit by it. And he that buildeth, as he that shall not dwelleth therein. He that soweth, as if he shall not reap. So also he that planteth the vineyard, as he that shall not gather grapes." All right. That they that marry, as they that shall get no children, and they that marry not, as the widowers. All right. And therefore they that labor in vain. Right? Because we're coming to a time where everything that you do, ultimately, the Lord is saying, don't see no future in this place. Don't see no future in this place. Don't have your hope build up in this place. Seek ye the kingdom, and all these things going to be added to you. What's the kingdom? What's the kingdom composed of? Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Those names. What else is the kingdom composed of? Righteousness. How do you gain righteousness? Through the obedience of the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay? That's righteousness. What thus says the Lord, not what any of these people in their emotions and their feelings tell you. What did the Lord say? All right? Let's say if a wife have a husband, and the husband tells the wife, hey, we're going to operate like this. But others come around and they feed that wife what they want. And she takes heed to what they want instead of what her husband says. Then, you're pretty much going off. And they're going off, especially if they know the truth. They're going off as well. Because they should know what your husband requires. And they should respect that. But let me go back to this, right? It says, verse 44, they that marry as they that shall get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers. And therefore they that labor in vain. Why? Verse 46, for strangers shall reap their fruits and spoil their goods, overthrow their houses, and take their children captives. For in captivity and famine shall they get children. And that's where we at right now, in a sense. And it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be on a higher level during Jacob's trouble, right? Verse 47. And they that occupy their merchandise with robbery, the more they deck their cities, their houses, their possessions, and their own persons, the more will I be angry with them for their sin, saith the Lord. See, yeah. Because it's going to get to a point where people are going to be invading each other's houses. Let's get that. Let's go here to the second. My bad, not second. Clocked out of it. Let's go back into Ezekiel chapter 7. There are going to be people invading homes. People going to be on a whole different level with this shit, man. Ezekiel chapter 7. I ain't mean to do that. Ezekiel chapter 7. And we're going to jump down to verse 15. And it states, the sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. But they that escape of them shall escape. And they that escape of them shall escape, and shall be on the mountains like doves of the valleys, all of them mourning, every one for his iniquity. All hands shall be feeble, and all knees shall be weak as water. They shall also gird themselves with sackcloth, and the horror shall cover them. The shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon all their heads. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right, so you're going to be, that like we just read in 2nd Esdras, chapter 16. You're going to have to look at those things like, this stuff is not going to save me. This stuff is not going to prevent me from being deceased. My fear, my trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is the only thing that's going to deliver me if he have mercy on me. And you're supposed to be building up that trust right now. You're supposed to be building up that obedience right now. And a lot of our people, they can't really simply keep, they really can't keep those simple principles. The distractions of the world constantly overtake them. But they're going to be mourning in sackcloth, right? They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block, of their iniquity. Right. What King David said. Let's get it in Psalms. Where you at? Psalm chapter 69. Psalm 69, let's jump down to verse 20.
I'll start at verse 20. Yeah, it say, reproach has broken my heart, and I am full of heaviness, and I looked for some to take pity, but there was none, and for comforters, but I found none. They gave me also gall for my meat, and in my thirst they gave me vinegar to drink. Yeah, this is Yahweh Shai, man. When he was on the cross, man, right, when he was being persecuted for the sins of Israel. Verse 22, he said, let their table become a snare before them. He's talking about the 2/3 of Israel that said, let his blood be upon on us and on our children's children. He said, let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. Let their eyes be darkened, that they see not, and make their loins continually to shake. Pour out thine indignation upon them, and let thy wrathful anger take hold of them. Let their habitation be desolate, and let none dwell in their tents. For they persecuted him whom thou hast smitten, and they talked to the grief of those whom thou hast wounded. All right? And they making Yahweh Shem Yahushua to look, to look bad with their faithlessness, with their lack of hope, with their lack of trust in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And that's even when he was on the earth. 2/3 of our people did that. And the Lord hasn't forgotten. Yahweh Shem Yahushua has not forgotten. I'm going to go back to Ezekiel and close out, man. Ezekiel chapter 7. I'm going to go down to verse 20. The temple profane. It says, as for God, man, as for the beauty of his ornament, he sat in his majesty. But they made the images of their abominations and of their detestable things therein. Therefore have I set it far from them. And I will give it unto the hands of the strangers for a prey, and to the wicked of the earth for a spoil, and they shall pollute it, talking about how the Lord, he gave us everything. Even in our own homeland, we had a temple to go worship him, and our people took advantage of it. Like they're doing right now to this day. They're taking advantage of it. They're not realizing what the Lord is setting up, what the Lord is putting down. And they're discarding it. Again, but they made the images of their abominations and of all their detestable things therein. Therefore have I set it far from them. And I will give it into the hands of the strangers for a prey, and to the wicked of the earth for a spoil, and they shall pollute it. My face will I turn also from them, and they shall pollute my secret place, for the robbers shall enter into it and defile it. Make a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the crime is full of, and the city is full of violence. Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. Right. Going back to second Ezra chapter 16. Right, we're gonna be kicked out of our houses. Right, like this is what happened in our homeland, but this is what's about to happen right now too, because our people are known as a land before a people before the land, or a people before a place. Right? It says, and therefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled. Right, your so-called holy places, your churches, all these places y'all go to, y'all seek refuge in. The Lord said, I don't dwell in temples made with the hands of men. Right? It's going to be defiled. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Right? They say we're prophets of doom. Yeah, we the prophets of doom, because there ain't no peace until Yahweh shall come back and destroy all this shit. Destroy all the wickedness out of the earth, and save his elect. He's only going to have peace with his elect, and that's it. With that, I'm going to close out. Hoping this lesson is edifying to the elect. remember, keep the faith and rehearse the righteous acts to the best of your ability. You know, show that faith. Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, Kwam Yasharallah. Wa Abba Abba.